To affirm that Jesus is fully human and fully divine reorients us away from visitation and escape, and away from transcendence as distance, to an understanding of incarnation and to transcendence as intimacy. I had to learn this myself, but once the reorientation had occurred, it changed how I see everything, myself, the world, God. Hi, I'm Warren, the rector here at St. Columba's. Glad you could join me for my message of the day. Jesus is the human face of God, God in the flesh. Even on the cross, God going where ordinarily people think God can't or shouldn't. A fully human life and the God-forsakenness of the cross. And in Scripture, we see Jesus in his self-giving to the one he calls Abba, Father. And we come to see the Father's love for Jesus, especially in breaching the chasm of sin and death in resurrection through the power of the Spirit. However you might think of Jesus and his life, death and resurrection, I think it's common to think of him as a divine visitor, zooming in and out to show us something, to teach us something, to inspire us to continue his vision once he returns to where he came from. But instead, let's make that a deeper and bigger understanding, a bigger vision. Let's think of his incarnation, that is, God becoming human as Jesus. Let's think of his incarnation as creation being included in God's very life, rather than Jesus the visitor and then who escapes back to God. Let's think of the incarnation as including us into the very life of God. What we see, the relationship between Jesus the Son and the Father and the work of the Spirit, that's the very life of God. And in Jesus, that very life, we are included in that very life. Don't see it as that life visiting us and then leaving us. We are included in the very life of God, Father, Son, and Spirit. Now, there's a lot more that can be said about this. It is a reorientation, a new idea for many people. It needs to be clarified, and we have to start using more exact theological language at some point. But if you can grasp the heart of God's incarnation and its implications, it changes everything. Jesus isn't a visitation. We are being included in God's very life. The death and resurrection of Jesus and the giving of the Spirit aren't just changing us or preparing us, they're doing that, but more than that. They're not preparing us to escape our createdness. The Spirit is taking us now deeper into the very life of God. Now, if you're thinking, I don't really get that, it's because your understanding is being reoriented away from visitation, away from escape, away from transcendence as distance. And it's being reoriented toward incarnation, the incarnation of God in Jesus and its implications, and to transcendence as intimacy, because the incarnation brings us to see the intimacy of God with us, because God is transcendent. Now, as I said before, I had to learn this myself, and it changed how I see the world. A world charged with the grandeur of God takes on a deeper meaning when you understand this theology of incarnation. God-forsakenness is in the arms of God. When I pray, it is the Spirit praying in me. You can check that out at Romans 8:26. Thanks for joining me today. Bye-bye.